Welcome back to Explain America. This is your host, Kyle Becker. The FBI is dropping bombs on partisan hacks left and right, and there is a latest firing that is driving MSNBC and their left-wing comrades absolutely mad. And this latest one, it's a real shockwave because it ties into a lot of the worst actors in DC. But before we get into this story, please like, share, and comment at Explain America. Join us. We appreciate your support for common sense journalism. Now, the Justice Department has fired a senior national security prosecutor, the latest in a string of dismissals shaking one of the country's most prominent U.S. Attorney's Office. His name is Michael Ben-Ari, who led the National Security Unit in the Eastern District of Virginia. He was dismissed on Wednesday, just hours after he was criticized by conservative commentator Julie Kelly. And MSNBC is absolutely in shambles. Let's just go to the video and have a little entertainment before we break this down.
Firing of one of the nation's top national security prosecutors. Joining us is the reporter who broke that story, MSNBC Justice correspondent Ken Delanian. So what happened? Why this shakeup?
Chris, the top national security prosecutor in the Eastern District of Virginia was fired by the Justice Department yesterday without explanation, a few hours after a MAGA activist falsely suggested that he was part of the internal resistance to prosecuting James Comey. The activist is Julie Kelly, a former food writer who's become a social media star in MAGA world. She wrote in her ex-post that this prosecutor, Michael Ben-Ari, was a top aide to Lisa Monaco, the Deputy Attorney General under Merrick Garland. And that's true. He was detailed there. Monaco herself has become a target of MAGA, and Trump over the weekend urged Microsoft to fire her from her job there. So by tying Ben-Ari to Monaco, Julie Kelly was trying to suggest that he was somehow a political opponent of Trump. She wrote, quote, "One can only assume he was a big part of the internal resistance to the Comey indictment." Now, that's false. Sources told me that Ben-Ari had nothing to do with the Comey case, and he is not a political actor. He was a career lawyer who worked under both Democratic and Republican presidents, including Trump in his first term. He's a highly regarded lawyer who worked his way up the DOJ ranks and planned to spend his career in public service. And what's also noteworthy here, Chris, is that Ben-Ari was the lead prosecutor in the case against the accused terrorists charged with helping plan a 2021 suicide bombing in Afghanistan that killed 13 American service members. And remember, when the Trump administration captured this man in March, they celebrated it as a huge triumph. Kash Patel went to the airport. That case is scheduled to go to trial in early December, and now the DOJ has fired the man in charge of the case for what appear to be political reasons, Chris. I should say the Justice Department does not comment on personnel matters. Chris.
Ken Delanian with his exclusive reporting. Thank you.
Now, Ben-Ari was advising Lisa Monaco while she was doing political prosecution of J6ers. As we know, they went way, way beyond what they did for Black Lives Matter rioters who actually, as opposed to J6ers, are responsible for at least 20 deaths and $1 billion in damage. The prosecutors in this office, they were obviously motivated by partisan hatred of conservatives and Trump supporters. So obviously, if this person had anything to do with these political prosecutions, it is sensible to review these people and potentially fire them, and that is what is going on with Michael Ben-Ari. Well, Kelly, Julie Kelly that is, implied that Ben-Ari was part of internal resistance within the office to the Justice Department's case against former FBI Director James Comey. She also noted that Monaco, who he worked with, was a figure behind Russiagate. Now, this comes after a wave of resignations and firing, including Maya Song, the top deputy to former U.S. Attorney Eric Siebert. She was forced out. Siebert, a Trump appointee, had resigned last month after clashing with the administration over efforts to bring charges against New York Attorney General Letitia James in the mortgage fraud investigation. Then we have Troy Edwards Jr., the son-in-law of James Comey. He stepped down as the Justice Department was able to get a grand jury indictment against Comey. And of course, James Comey's daughter, Maureen Comey, was fired by the Trump administration after botching both the Epstein and Diddy cases. So, take heart. Swamp is slowly being drained. Nature is healing. The country might be able to get on the right track after all, but we need to get professionals in the Department of Justice who prosecute blindly, not in regards to the political beliefs of those who are being targeted. We need to have true professionalism brought back into the DOJ and the FBI. And I think that Kash Patel, Dan Bongino, and also Pam Bondi are cleaning out some of the partisan actors. So take heart. Things look to be turning around to some extent in Washington. And thank you for watching Explain America.